Good morning.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Kim Spillers.
And I'm Frank Spillers, and welcome to Rural Community Solutions TV live stream, where we talk about how you can design a family-friendly, youth-centered place that attracts people. People in your business, people in your community, people in your organization, people in your church. It's all about how you create your environment where people feel like they belong. And that's what we do when we start to build rural communities back strong, where they can attract the people that are moving around the country these days, because people are choosing where they want to live. They don't find a job and then move there. They choose where they live, and then they figure out the economy.
Or they bring their work with them. And that is one of the primary approaches that we're encouraging communities to consider, is your internet connection, your broadband capabilities, and whether or not your community is ready for those people who might want to live in a rural area somewhere in America or around the world. And will your community be welcoming of new people and their ideas and their input and the opportunities that they bring with them? So our show is all about rural communities for rural communities and our growth, development, how we're going to thrive and make all kinds of new ways in the future with this new economy that is emerging from what's happening in the world, from the pandemic and from just new technologies that are coming our way, and how we can best utilize them.
You know, we use 4 pillars to help build organizations and help build communities. And those 4 pillars are relationships, engagement, entrepreneurship, and collaboration. And those 4 pillars will uphold your platform on how you can build and design your family-friendly, youth-centered place that attracts people. But with those 4 pillars come 4 words, our 4 steps to create kindness, our 4 steps that create that environment where people can come in and say, you know what? I really belong here. This really feels good to me, and I want to participate. I want to locate. I want to be a part of whatever is going on here, because this is where I feel comfortable. And those 4 words are welcome, understand, comfort, and appreciate. And when you welcome, understand, comfort, and appreciate yourself and others, it does build that environment to where relationships can happen. And it's those relationships that help people belong. That helps people. When you're in a great relationship with somebody, you want to be there, right? When you're in a bad relationship with somebody, you want to leave. And so this is all about, how do you build great relationships? How do you build those relationships to where people feel valued, and to where people then want to stay where you are and stay with you? And so all this week, we're talking about those 4 steps you can take of welcome, understand, comfort, and appreciate. And we are on welcome. Yesterday, we talked about judgment. We played a game, and I showed you some words. I put some words up there on the screen, and you wrote down your first thought. And I hope that you really, after the show, you went back on that list and you looked at what was your first thought when I flashed that word. It was husband, it was wife, it was man, woman. Then we went into, it was Republican, it was Democrat, it was COVID, it was a mask mandate. How do you feel when you hear that and you judge those words? What was your first thought? That's how you can feel when you judge. That is based upon who you are and kind of how you view the world. So today we're going to be talking about a choice you can make, because you are responsible for what you create in your words and your actions. So I want to ask you a question today. I want to ask you this question. Are you happy? Now, when you wake up in the morning, you have 2 choices. And you ask yourself this question every day. Are you happy? Last week, we talked about those 4 emotions that a person has. They're sad, they're mad, they're afraid, and they are
glad.
So you have that choice of being any of those four emotions. You choose the emotion that you're going to do during the day. So when you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself this question, am I happy? If the answer is yes, keep doing what you're doing and share it with others. All right. So are you happy? Yes. Okay. What are you doing?
I'm taking care of myself.
When you are happy, you have
Yes.
to say, okay, what am I doing that creates an environment to where I'm happy? It's all about creating the environment. You can create that environment for yourself. All right. Now, as an entrepreneur, you have to create that environment for yourself. You have to live in that environment because you're passionate. Are you going to have failures? Yes, you're going to have failures, and you're going to have to take responsibility for those failures. You are the cause of the failure. You have to understand that, and that has to make you happy. When you fail, you have to look at it as a learning environment and learning, and I am going to learn from my failure because I want to be happy. I choose to be happy. Now, the second part of that is, are you happy? No. Okay. Then you have to ask yourself another question. Do you want to be happy? Yes, I want to be happy. You choose that. Okay. So if you wake up in the morning and you say, am I happy? And you say no, then the next question is, do you want to be happy? If you say yes, you have to change something. You have to change what you are doing. You have to change your thought process. You have to change your actions to get the results that you want. That's up to you. So, are you happy? No. Do you want to be happy? Yes. Change what you're doing. Then we run into these people.
And there are people like this.
Oh boy, are there people.
You'll be able to probably name one or two.
And you might be one. Are you happy? No. Do you want to be happy?
No.
So what are you then? You're a crap magnet. Crap attracts crap. So when you choose not to be happy, so you wake up and you say, okay, I choose to be sad. I choose to be mad. I choose to be afraid. Right? So what are you going to attract? Something that it makes you sad, something that makes you mad, something that makes you afraid. You attract what you are. You attract the way you think. You attract the way you act. You attract what you are. So if you wake up in the morning and say, I want to be happy, or I don't want to be happy. Am I happy? No. Do you want to be happy? No. Then you are a crap magnet. And we don't want crap magnets. We repel crap magnets. We run away from crap magnets. So being a crap magnet is a choice.
Well, and related to community development and community growth and community atmosphere and environment, if there are a bunch of people who live in the community, and you'd be able to find them pretty easily if you walk into a coffee shop, or if you happen to be in different staff areas at a school, or at, say, your hospital or something like that. Places where employees gather and they talk, we either gossip or we just talk smack about what's happening around town and the leadership and the people and all of that. That's the environment. And that's what we're trying to get people to change if they want to be able to have a happy environment where people get along and good products come out, good processes come out. Good outcomes come of that environment. So that's where the happiness may seem kind of light and trite, but it's actually a really critical, important point for a community, and whether or not you attract or repel people who either want to stay in your community, or whether or not they come visit and they think, oh gosh, I could live here. And they're going to look at what that atmosphere is like and how they feel. And so that's why this is an important question to ask. Not just a light little thing in the morning, though that is important because every decision that we make, every attitude, every choice that we make helps to influence the environment when we leave our house or when we go to work or we go to school or wherever we go. So that's where the important question lies each and every morning, and actually all throughout the day.
Because everything that you do, you are responsible for. Right. And so we have this saying that you have the ability to respond in any way. So take responsibility. Just take that word responsibility and dissect it. You have the ability to respond in any way. So take failure, take a loss. You have the ability to blame somebody else for that loss, for that failure, or you have the responsibility to accept your role in that failure. You have the ability to respond in any way. Now, the way that you respond is the way that you're going to have an outcome come out. And so we have this formula, C plus A equals R, and we've talked about it quite a bit on here, but it is a foundation to how your life turns out. It's a foundation to the attitude as an entrepreneur, to the attitude as a community, to the attitude of a vision that you get. You have the responsibility, you have the ability to respond in any way. So an A, or that C, is circumstances plus your actions equal your results. Your circumstances is where you're at right now. Are you happy? Right? If that circumstance says, yes, I am happy, keep doing what you're doing. So look at the actions, because those actions will get you the results that you want. If your circumstances, as you say, are I happy? Are I happy? Okay. And then you can say, no, I'm not. Well, you have to look at your actions. What actions are you taking that result in your unhappiness? People cannot make you feel anything. So it's not anybody else's fault that is making you feel unhappy. It is your response to the circumstance that you're in. So you have to change your actions. When you do that, when you change your actions, all right, when you change your actions, you get different results. So I'm going to give you 5 steps, 5 things that you can do, 5 things that you can do that are going to help you create that environment to be happy, right? And it's nothing you add, but you might have to subtract things from where you are, okay? So here we go with this list of what do you need to eliminate to be happy? You might have to eliminate bad people in your life, right? So eliminate those people that don't bring you joy. What happens there? Okay, you're around people. Maybe you're going to that coffee shop and you're having a good day. All right, here you're walking down the street. You woke up this morning, you're choosing to be happy. You walk down the street, you walk in the coffee shop, you sit down with your coffee group, and when you leave, check your attitude. Check how you feel when you leave. If you are feeling more depressed, if you are feeling angry, if you are feeling something else on there, it's because of the environment that you were in and your thought process of that within that environment. So you just might have to change your coffee group or change what you talk about within your coffee group. Might not be bad people, but it might be bad thoughts. It might be bad words. It might be just bad conversation, right? But if it is bad people, eliminate them. Get them out of there. All right. Number 2, what you need to do, bad places. Stop going to the place that encourage unhealthy behaviors. And so if you do go into that coffee shop, right, you might have to eliminate going to the coffee shop because that's an unhealthy behavior. That's an unhealthy place for you to go, right? Or you might be going maybe to a restaurant, maybe to a bar, all right? Or where are you going that encourages unhealthy behaviors? And if that is a place you need to eliminate, then stop going there.
Well, and of course, for both of those two, the flip side, of course, is to choose places. Try something new. Try a new group. Try changing the subject. See whether or not you can flip that yourself so that you can help bring up the topics that are happier and they lead to great discussion. And we're not saying to get rid of anything that is not a discussion topic, because we do have to balance, we do have to dialogue, and that's a really important skill. But in terms of being happy, if that is your goal, choose places where you're going to be happier. Choose people and surround yourself with people who do bring you that joy. So that's the flip side of this. So you can't eliminate these things, but you can also add them back into your life.
All right, number 3, here we go. Comparison to others. Stop comparing yourself to others. You need to be who you are. You need to do what you do, and don't worry about the opinions of other people. Don't worry about their success or their failure. Just do what you do, and do it with passion, do it with commitment, and do it with persistence. And just keep doing. If you feel what you're doing is the right thing to do, keep doing it.
Absolutely.
Because that's entrepreneurship is more about persistence. Entrepreneurship is more about your passion than it is anything else. And sure, you do need to make money. That's kind of an important part of it.
That's a really important part.
But you that's not your focus.
Right.
That is not your focus. But comparing yourself to others, you're doing something and they're making the money. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't look at that as if you are just a failure or that you are just not as good as they are. You are as good as you think you are. All right? So change your thought process. Change the view of yourself and stop comparing yourself with others. All right. Number 4. Don't overthink your failures. Okay. Come here. Got a hint for you. Entrepreneurs, come here. Listen up. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. Learn how to fail properly. You know, it's one of my, I guess, pet peeves with our educational system is we do not teach students how to fail. One thing, we give them an F on their paper because it's not up, it's substandard, it's not up to where it needs to be, and so the grade is an F. That is a failing grade. So what happens is everybody in the classroom turns, points, and laughs at that student because they failed. And so what have we done? We've gotten rid of the F. That's not the way to do it. What we have to do is to work with everybody, work with our students that say failure is a part of the learning process, right? When you fail, you learn. You learn. And as an entrepreneur, you know that failure is going to come. I failed. Businesses have failed. I failed many, many times over the course of my business career, of starting businesses, failing in businesses, having huge monetary losses. In my personal life, all this, I have failed. I'm not a failure.
Absolutely.
I have failed. So don't overthink your failures, okay? Don't think about your failures. Here's what you do. Think about your successes, because everybody has had a success. You've had failures, you've had successes. And so if you've had successes, you know what failures are. Because if you've never had a success, you wouldn't have failed, right? Because it's the opposite. Success, failure. Think about your successes and then duplicate what you did to get your success. Duplicate your emotions, duplicate your actions, duplicate where you are, duplicate your thought process on thinking about how to get there to that success. All right. Think about what you were thinking about to get you there to that success. Create that emotion, because that will help you get to your success. So don't overthink failures. Think about your success. And number 5, don't expect instant gratification. Get rid of it. Eliminate instant gratification. Entrepreneurs, come here. There, I want to tell you something.
For those on the podcast, he's beckoning people to come closer.
Listen up, entrepreneurs. Listen up. Listen up. There is no overnight successes. You don't wake up one day, think of something, wake up the next day, and you are a success. There are no overnight successes. The overnight successes that I know were persistent for many, many years. Right? They just happened then to become a success and came in your view. I didn't know this person yesterday. How come they're so successful today? Oh, they're an overnight success. Wrong. Talk to them. How long did it take them to get to where they are? Instant gratification creates a disappointment if it doesn't happen for you right away. And so as entrepreneurs, we need to think about how hard and the persistence that we need to do to keep moving forward, to be stumble, to get up, stumble again, and get up. So you have to be okay with persistence and practice. Take an athletic team. How many games do they play a week? How many times do they practice during the week? Do they practice more than they do an official game? Right? If you're playing football, you practice 6 days a week and you play a game on the 7th. All right? If you're playing basketball, you might play 2 games a week, but you practice 5. So you're practicing more than you're playing in the final game. All right? And so you have to practice what you're doing. Take an athlete going to the Olympics. They train for the Olympics for years, right? And they spend how many hours in the gym, not in competition. So they practice what they're going to be doing, and then they play the game. Right? So it is the practice, it is the persistence, it is the end result that you want to get you there. And so as we look at these 5 things to eliminate bad people, eliminate bad places, stop comparing yourself to others, don't overthink your failures, and get rid of instant gratification. When you do all that, all right, when you do all that, you are driving your car. You are driving your car to get the results that you want. You are driving your car from your circumstances to your actions to get the results that you want. So check your actions. Your actions will determine where you're driving that car to get those results.
Something else that I have been pondering in preparation for the show is what does make us happy? And I think this has been a really great year for us to think about this because life has been turned upside down. I think that for many people, happiness often comes from a sense of predictability, from patterns that we can anticipate. And that brings us a certain sense of flow and how life is going to go. And when our patterns and our expectations are upset, then we can become unhappy and we can become grumpy. So this has been a really tremendous learning year for all of us. And so I wanted to just point that out, that might be something for you to consider in your happiness journey, is how important are patterns to you? How important, how flexible are you? Are you able to kind of roll with life? One of our kids is just awesome at that. He's just able to roll with changes in life. But that is that's a character trait of his. I think that's also something that he has cultivated in his life. And so, yay, Jordan. But I wanted to just kind of throw that out there, that if you have a tough time with change and you have a tough time with transition. We've talked about that people like change but not transition. And this has been a year of tremendous transition. And how has that impacted our happiness? So I wanted to point that out and see whether or not that was something that really resonates with you, the listener. And if that's something that you can consider and maybe just adapt a little bit as we continue to ride out the rest of the year.
Because as we have gone through this year from March until now, and it looks like probably till next March,
Yeah,
okay,
it's gonna
something
keep
like
going.
that. We look at are you having this conversation in your head? When the vaccine helps us get out of our house and we can resume our life, I will be happy then. If you have had that conversation, you need to then have a honest conversation with yourself of what makes you happy and what actions are you taking to become happy, because it's a struggle. It is really a struggle, and entrepreneurs have this struggle all the time, and they really have to have that passion as they have moved forward. I mean, we have done this broadcast since August 3rd, and do we have an Ellen size audience?
Not yet. Yes, we do. In our
Hello,
heads.
Ellen. Hello.
Yes.
I know she's watching. Hello.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
So, but you have to look at what are you creating, and where are you that creates that happiness? Because here's what you need to do. You need to go stand in the mirror, and look at yourself, and be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself about your thoughts. Just stand there, look at your eyes, and think about and listen to what you're thinking. Listen to what you're thinking, because real transformation in your life requires real honesty. And that's, you have to be honest with yourself, right? Because here's the saying for the day. When you seek happiness for yourself, it always eludes you, right? But when you seek happiness for others, happiness will find you. So seek the happiness that will make others happy, because what is inside of you transfers to the outside to create that environment. And so when you are seeking happiness for other people, you want other people that are in your environment to be happy, but you have to be happy first. So you are seeking happiness for others by seeking happiness through you. And that transformation then requires true honesty. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this, or if you are a family member, if you are a community member, if you know an entrepreneur, share this video with them, share this audio with them, share the podcast with them about what it does, what it takes to create an atmosphere for entrepreneurship to happen. What does it take for an atmosphere, and how then does that create a successful environment for people to want to belong to? That's all about how do you attract people? How do you create that environment that's going to attract people to where people feel welcome, understood, comfort, and appreciated?
So why this matters to communities is because all of the work that we do with ourselves and on ourselves and through ourselves creates the culture of the community. That's why working on ourselves is so critical to whether or not people feel like they belong in your community, and whether or not they want to stick around, or whether or not they want to consider moving there and bringing their business or starting a new business. That's why we share these things with you.
So come back tomorrow, because we're going to be talking about how people are built like a computer and where your thoughts come from at a very, very early age. Something you won't want to miss, because we're starting our pillar of engagement. We're starting our pillar of understand, or our step of understand, and we're going to start our way of how we can have conversations between us and among us that help create those relationships. So come on back tomorrow. 11:30 a.m. Central Time, right here on Rural Community Solutions TV live stream on our YouTube channel or Rural Community Solutions Facebook page, or you can catch the podcast at anchor.fm/Frank Spillers. And our podcast is called Think Like an Entrepreneur, Become a Spark Plug, because we want communities to have that individual person that's going to be that spark plug that's going to make that community and help that community to move forward to become what it can become.
So we thank you for taking the time to spend this 30 minutes with us, either on our Facebook or YouTube, or listening to us on our podcast. We hope that you have learned some things about yourself and how to improve your life and how that impacts your community and whether or not it has an opportunity to grow because of what you choose to do.
So make sure that you share it, subscribe, share the words. Let's create the environment. I'm Frank Spillers.
And I'm Kim Spillers. Live what you've learned.
Thank you.
Have a great day.